What is going on, YouTube? Running on Sports back here with another video. Today we are coming at you a day later, unfortunately, than we normally would be for our college football news video. And the reason behind that is it's been a very crazy college football news week, I guess you could say. So that is the reason we're coming from you guys late. We're sorry for that, but been a lot of planning for this video. Just very busy on Tuesday, the day we intend to post it. Today is Wednesday. If you watch this, the day it is uploaded, which is possibly unlikely just due to the fact that it will be uploaded very late. But with besides that, that's besides the point. The lot of news to talk about. Planning for it on Tuesday, unable to actually film and upload a video and edit it. So sorry about that. And we'll try not to, but it may happen when a very hectic week is happening in the news world. So just if that's happening, we'll be a day late. We also notified you guys on Instagram. So also, the Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Atlanta Hawks 118 to 107 to make it into the NBA Finals. And just yesterday, the Phoenix Suns defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 118 to 105 to win the first game of the NBA Finals. And then Thursday, tomorrow, the Milwaukee Bucks will face the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. Phoenix is currently a 5.5 favorite, 5.5 point favorite, and we'll see what happens there. So, with that being said, let's get right into this action-packed college football news video. With four-star safety Jake Pope announces his top 5 schools: Alabama, North Carolina, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Georgia. Four-star offensive tackle Joe Burner commits to Wisconsin. Five-star defensive end Brennan Vernon from Ohio commits to Notre Dame. The number 18th player overall in the class of 2022. It's a big pickup for Notre Dame. A very good week for them as far as recruiting goes. Four-star offensive tackle slash defensive end Luke Montgomery announces his top 12 schools: South Carolina, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Stanford, Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Michigan, Clemson, and Alabama. Four-star wide receiver Carnell Tate announces his top 10 schools: Ole Miss, Michigan, Texas, LSU, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Florida State, Illinois, Penn State, and Ohio State. Four-star cornerback Terrence Brooks commits to Ohio State. Five-star athlete Makai Lemon announces his top 7 schools: Oklahoma, USC, Georgia, Michigan, Florida, Texas, and Alabama. He's 6 foot, 180 pounds, from Los Alamitos, California. Four-star athlete Jonil Agario announces his top 12 schools: Georgia, Penn State, Texas, Florida State, Miami, Florida, Ohio State, LSU, Boston College, Alabama, Clemson, and Oklahoma. Four-star running back Tavarius Jones commits to Missouri. He is 5'10", 195 pounds, from El Paso, Texas. Very small running back, and Missouri picks up a big-time player to add to that recruiting class. Four-star is very good for that Missouri Tigers team. Four-star linebacker Sean Murphy announces his top 5 schools: Alabama, LSU, Florida, Penn State, and Ohio State. Four-star defensive lineman Justice Finkley announces his top 3 schools: Alabama, Colorado, Texas. He's 6'2", 260 pounds, from Trussville, Alabama. Really a weird name in there as far as schools is Colorado, and being in a four-star defensive lineman from Alabama clear across the country, they being in his top 3, I mean, yes, there's got to be stoked about that, but just so odd to think that, you'd think that it'd be an LSU, and maybe an LSU or a different team like that, or Auburn even, and just for the fact that those are the nearby teams, and just a really odd that Colorado team is in there. He's from Trussville, Alabama. Hewitt Trussville, very talented high school football program out there, and just a weird list of teams really in there. He had Michigan and Auburn were the other two contenders really, and then he obviously has narrowed those two down. And he's not visited Alabama. Visited Colorado and Texas. He visited Texas on the 25th of June, and he visited Colorado on the 11th of June. So right now he is projected to go to Alabama. To So we'll see what happens. But Colorado being on there, very interesting and just really caught my eye, if I'm being honest. Speaking of Alabama, four-star athlete Antonio Kite from Anniston, Alabama, commits to the University of Alabama. And as great as a recruiter Nick Saban is, obviously we know what he can do nationwide. He can get the guys from the West Coast, from California, Najee Harris from California. He can get guys from different states, such as Devontae Smith, he's from Louisiana, and he's got a lot of guys from all over the country. The thing he also does well is recruits well in the state of Alabama. There's two obviously Division 1 big schools in Alabama, and that's Auburn and Alabama. The two teams are dead rivals. They hate each other. And probably, in my opinion, the most passionate football rivalry in all of college football. And I think that that's the most entertaining, the Iron Bowl, in my opinion. And I know some may disagree with me on that, but I think that him getting those players and not having them go to Auburn and is big. It's huge, and there's a lot of talent in the state of Alabama, and so I think that that's big for him. When a guy who really could have a very good team from just recruiting guys from the state of Alabama, he still recruits nationally, and that's why he is so good at what he does. And Auburn, they're going to get a lot. Alabama will get a lot of guys from Auburn's backyard, when considering the fact that Auburn has a new head coach. They haven't had the greatest of years lately, and I think that that's going to help Nick Saban and his recruiting. We already know how good of a recruiter is, the best recruiter in college football right now, best college football coach of all time, and you already know Nick Saban will take 100% of 100% advantage of that right there. SMU lands five-star wide receiver Jordan Hudson from Garland, Texas. He is SMU's highest ranked commit ever, a huge pickup for SMU, and that's great for that team. A team who was a very solid and very competitive, I'd say elite Power 5 team, and then they kind of dropped off for a couple of years, and then now they're back, I think, with these commitments. I think that they can really be back to being one of the elite group of 5 teams, and that's really promising for some SMU fans. It's a great program, and I like that team a lot, and I'm excited to see what they'll do next year. They're a really young team coming up, and I think that it's going to be really exciting to see what they can do next year in the 2021 college football season. Four-star defensive lineman Zane Durant, no relation to Kevin Durant, commits to Penn State. Five-star offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. commits to the University of Oregon. Four-star defensive lineman JT Tolomalu, the number one recruit in the class of 2021, the number one recruit of all of high school football, commits to Ohio State. This is a commit that I've been saying for a while that will happen. JT Tolomalu originally had 5 schools in, took Alabama out of the top 5 schools, and then now just Ohio State. Decides to go to Ohio State. I've been saying for a while, even when Alabama was in the mix, that he will go to Ohio State. And I think that main reason is because the region that he is from, the West Coast, the Washington State specifically, has had 3 big time players go there. And you had the number one wide receiver, the first name Emeka. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name. And then you have G. Scott Jr., wide receiver from the same high school that JT Tolomalu attended. Eastside Catholic, a very strong team. I believe they've won two straight championships, and they've played a good team to win both of those championships. So they're a good team, and they've produced some good players. G. Scott Jr. obviously is a great player as well, and I think that is really one of the main reasons why I thought JTT would go to the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they pick him up. Really no surprise to anyone here, and big land for Ohio State. Very coveted player. And I was listening to the radio the other day, and Brock Heward, who's a great announcer. I've met him. I've actually met him before at an XFL game. He signed a football that I had, and I took a picture with him. Great guy. But he said that when JT Talamalu was a young kid and was, playing football, his first years of football, his formative years of football, the teams that were doing well were Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and from being from Washington, the Huskies, they've been okay. They did make the playoffs one of those years, but those teams, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Clemsons, the Oklahomas, those are the teams that have been in every year. And why would he choose Washington, or why would he choose Ohio State over Washington? I think Ohio State and Washington are probably have equal to what they have to offer. I think Washington probably has better education, in my opinion, but that's a different story. But, anyways, I think that Ohio State, the argument is he wants to go play championships, play in national championships, and you're probably not going to get that at Washington. And yes, they've had a good year. Sam Heward, Brock Heward's nephew, the leading passer in the state of Washington, stays in Washington, and we'll see if he can pull off a hometown hero type of thing from Kennedy Catholic High School. A very talented player, lefty, and I think that that's gonna be interesting to see. But just a very great point from Brock Heward, and really a big fan of Brock Heward myself, and so that was just a great point to why JT Talamalu would commit to Ohio State, and makes a ton of sense. Four-star defensive lineman Derek Moore commits to Oklahoma. Four-star safety Bryce Anderson announces top two schools, Texas and Texas A&M. He is 6 foot, 190 pounds, from Beaumont, Texas. So we'll see what team in the state of Texas will pick up Bryce Anderson. Four-star defensive end Mario Eugenio commits to Michigan. Four-star wide receiver Kojo Antwi commits to Ohio State. The NCAA now allows college athletes to make profits from their name, image, and likeness from platforms such as advertisements and merchandise and even more. So my overall opinion on this, I think that it's not a horrible idea, but at the same time, I really think that college athletes are pretty spoiled, and I think that they put in a ton of hard work. That is not definitely not does not go unnoticed. But I think that truthfully, they have a lot of stuff that is handed to them, and I hate the phrase that college athletes are slaves to the NCAA, because that's a terrible argument. The NCAA provides so much to each scholarship athlete on any Division 1 Power 5 football team, and to say that they're slaves is ridiculous, because those guys go to class with they sit next to people who may be the valedictorian of their high school, the smartest person in the high school that person attended to. And these football players may not be the smartest, and they are going to college for free. They're getting a great education for free. They're staying in the nicest dorm rooms on campus. Their meals are paid for. They have the nicest meals on campus. They get free clothing from the football team. This amount of stuff that they don't have to pay for, that the rest of the students at a certain school have to pay for, is insane. And just tuition alone and books and all that stuff is crazy. The people that they sit next to in their classrooms will pay tens of thousands of dollars for the rest of their life in student debt, and for college athletes to be able to make even more money than that they really are, in a way that they're making, is, in my opinion, it's good for the athlete, but I think that it's not the greatest move, and it takes some of the integrity of the game away, for the fact that you could have a guy who could be the greatest high school football player ever. He could have every record in all of high school football, and he could not do anything at the college level. He could still sign an advertisement deal with Nike or Adidas or whatever it may be, and he could be set for life as a college athlete, while the people who are 10 times smarter than him, sitting next to him in class, will have to pay tens of thousands of dollars, and will probably still not make the amount of money that these people will make from advertisement deals and other stuff like that. That, to me, really bums me out in a way that, yes, it's very controversial, and I know a lot of people will disagree about it, but in a way, you have to look at it like the tens of thousands of dollars that these guys do not have to pay to have the opportunity to play college football is crazy in itself. And I don't think that players should be limited to making money, that they shouldn't be, that they can't, take money for autographs and stuff like that. I don't think that at all. I just think that signing brand deals as an 18 to 21-year-old, or 22-year-old even, is just a little crazy in my mind. And who knows? I mean, just look at Arch Manning, one of the more highly coveted football commits. It's coming up, and who knows how much money he'll make. He can make, honestly, I think he could make up to $1 million at least. He's just that good, and that's crazy. A college student, six figures. That's ridiculous in my mind. And I don't think that college athletes should really be signing brand deals. I do think that they should be able to have YouTube channels and social media pages where they can profit from that. But signing brand deals is a little much for me, and that's just my whole take on it. But I think college athletes should be allowed to sign autographs, and I think that that's a big thing. But that's just my thought on the whole NIL, name, image, and likeness discussion. That will wrap it up for today's video. If you guys have not already, please leave a like down below, subscribe, share this with your friends, and have a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching.